just a little bit towards me. There you go. My forehead gets so wrinkled.
Staring at people.
That's why people think I look mean.
It's your serious face. Serious about health.
Hey family, we've got a lot to talk about today. Exciting time of the year. We've got our bicycle rally happening. So you're going to hear a lot about that all over the office and all over our videos. We're after about $15,000 this year. That'll get us at least 200 bikes. I set that goal every year, but last couple of years we've had 450 bikes, and then another year we had 500 bikes. All in all, in the last 10 years, we've given away over 3,000 bicycles to kids in the North Texas area, very close to the office, and in the southern part of Plano and far north Dallas County, southern Collin County there. We've got a bunch of schools and church families that do a real good job of being a liaison, and they find these kids that probably would never get a bicycle. And we set up a big event for them on December 12th this year where we do the bicycle giveaway. We're partnering with our church this year, so there's going to be a carnival. There'll be lots of activities, food, a whole lot of fun, big community event on December 12th. We need your help with the bicycles part. My family's going to donate our personal money, and we'll put in $2,000 or $3,000. We've already had, get this, $4,000 donated to get started on these bicycles. So over the next few weeks, you'll see the office filling up with these bikes. The spirit will pick up in here. Really help our community, help put a smile on these kids' faces. We'd love your help. So probably the best thing that you can do is if you donate money, I have a deal worked out with Walmart there at Coit and George Bush. Get a little plug to them. They do a real good job of discounting because I buy in bulk. They start with 10 to 15% discount, and then I wind up getting a free bike after 7 or 8. So they really help me stretch that dollar. Or you can certainly buy one. We're looking at bikes that are 20 inches or smaller this year. So our kids are going to be mostly 5th grade down to 1st grade and even kindergarten. And those little bitty bikes, they're the cutest. Mm-hmm. And then we'll need volunteers on December 12th to help come give it away. It'll be a great time. So on to today's topic. It's a big one. We're going into the holiday season, Christmas time, Thanksgiving, New Year's. And depending on the studies that you read, every year Americans put on an average of, guess how much? How much weight do you think? By the way, welcome Jen to the family.
Hi guys.
We're going to talk about her testimony so far here in a minute. How much weight do you think the American puts on during Christmas season?
8 to 10, 5 to 10.
That's probably right. I think the studies show 5 pounds, but it's more like probably closer to 20. I know I've done that in the past, and if you do that every year, after 5 years, you put on somewhere between 30 and 50 pounds. That's going to take some years off of the quality of your life. And we want to change that. In fact, we are doing a 3-week cleanse right now. So we have something like that. If you want to do it in the office, it's very simple to follow. In fact, we've got programs for just about everything that you want to accomplish. If you're trying to get fitter, more muscular, lose weight. Specifically today, we're going to talk about Jen and her hormone journey. If you are struggling or dealing with any type of hormone issue, now listen to this list. Hormones affect, your muscle development, your weight, your thyroid, your immune system, right? Obviously, our reproductive system, our energy stores. There are 84, last time I counted, there are 84 different hormones in a big dance in your body. And Jen, why don't you start off by telling everybody first of all, what was your first issue and how old were you?
So I got on birth control at 14 for acne, and then...
That's pretty common. Why do they give a birth control pill for acne? Because they tell you that the acne is due to what?
Hormones.
Which is not true. It's actually a virus. Another hot topic today. Anyway, go ahead.
So that went on to me being on birth control, then finding out that I had something wrong with my gallbladder. And then I happened to see a commercial for Yasmin Rosella.
How did you find out that you had a problem with your gallbladder?
I was throwing up bile for 8 hours. At any time, I could drink a glass of wine. I could drink 3 glasses of wine. No matter what, I'd be throwing up bile the next day for 8 hours. I was in total
Just
pain.
after alcohol or after food or anything?
That's what I remember the most triggering. But my stomach was just always upset. Acid reflux all the time. Just.
Any of you out there with acid
ulcers.
reflux? You know anybody with acid reflux or ulcers? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I was at the stomach doctor all the time.
So you went to the gastroenterologist, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who that is. And then, what were you saying about Yaz?
So after I got diagnosed with polyps on my gallbladder, I saw a commercial for Yasmin Rosella that said if you had taken these things and had your gallbladder disease or gallbladder removal, that you could sue. I stopped taking my birth control that day. I stopped puking
Is
that
that
day.
what Yaz is? Yaz is birth control?
Mm-hmm.
Is it estrogen based?
I can't remember.
Yeah, most of them are. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. But I stopped taking the birth control that day. And I had my gallbladder removal surgery about 2 months after that day.
Okay, wait. So you stopped the Yaz, and the reflux stopped?
Mm-hmm. Like instantly.
So I want to touch on that real quick and remind me about the gallbladder removal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So think about what she said. She was taking a birth control pill that clearly was causing acid reflux. But if you've been around here long enough, you've heard us rant and rave about the failures of the medical system. You cannot take a medication and expect to be healthy. Medicine doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, God would have made a tree that made medicine. No, those are human-made chemical concoctions designed to treat a symptom. And the way they treat a symptom is by killing something in your body or overstimulating it. It's tricking your body, and you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. You cannot be healthy taking a drug. I don't care what the drug is. If you're taking a medication, that means you're sick. And the longer you take it, the more bad things are going to happen. That's how they get that list of side effects. So a birth control pill, in her case, in Jen's case, was causing acid reflux. So you stopped that. The acid reflux went away, thanks God.
Mm-hmm.
Next was your gallbladder. Why did they take it?
Because it had polyps on it. Should I tell the story about the chiropractor that I met?
Oh, yeah, you met somebody who tried to talk you out of it.
Yeah, I met a chiropractor who was popping a handful of vitamins one day, and I'm telling him the story about my gallbladder and how I was about to get it out in about a couple weeks, and he's like, you don't need to get it removed. And mind you, at this time, I wasn't throwing up. I was only on the birth control to begin with because I had acne at 14.
So they took the gallbladder even though you weren't having any more symptoms.
Mm-hmm. And that's
criminal.
When I got off the birth control.
How old were you?
I was 21.
Wow.
So 14 to 21, I was on those pills. And when I got off the birth control, this is when I found out I had P.C.O.S. because I went 7 months without a period after the birth control. And it was due to my hormones. I had polyps on my ovaries, but it was mostly my hormones were out of whack. So flash forward to
what were your cycles like?
At that point after that, my periods were non-existent. I was having none for 7 months, and so and I changed my diet. They wanted me on metformin, I believe. They wanted me back on birth control, which I refused because I said I just got my this is what started all this. And so I changed my diet. And then flash forward to a couple years later when I had to go to the Mayo Clinic to figure out what was going on with
the Mayo Clinic, the top dogs.
Yeah.
What's up, Wayne?
So they said, other than the polyps on your ovaries, your hormones don't read as P.C.O.S. And that was purely because I changed my diet. I was not going to go back on birth control. I wasn't going to go on metformin or whatever else. I had seen what medicine was doing, so I said no.
So any other medical intervention? Did they do any more surgeries or any other drugs you were taking?
They proceeded to do colonoscopies and doing all these other things, over the course of 3 years. That's why we ended up going to the Mayo Clinic, because first it was, my gallbladder and stomach problems, and then PCOS and my hormones. Then I was having memory issues, and this led into me finding out I had seizures, which is why I went to the Mayo Clinic. I was having non-convulsive seizures, so I wasn't aware of really what they were, which also my seizures were related to my hormones.
So yeah, you've told us that where you noticed that you'd have a seizure during your cycle and during ovulation. Mm-hmm. So now it's obviously a seizure medication, which would tell everybody what you're about to do. Put you on the spot.
Next week is my last week on medicine. I'm weaning off. I had a convulsive seizure went to the hospital, and without my consent, they put me on a high dose of Keppra that I legally, because I was working with kids, I had to stay on it. If I wanted to drive and if I wanted to work with kids, I had to be on this medicine. And they also say if you just stop taking it, you're going to have these issues. I refused seizure medicine for 2 years because I was having non-convulsive seizures, and they were saying if you get on this medicine, if you mess up taking your pills, you could have a seizure that kills you, or you could go into having grand mal seizures even though you weren't having them before. But then when I had that final grand mal seizure, which was absolutely due to dehydration, I went out drinking and didn't have any water with me that day. Came home, ate Payway. The next morning, that's when I had my first grand mal seizure.
It's just punching your brain and your body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we'll keep everybody posted on that. Now, clearly, you heard her say you are pulling yourself off of the seizure medication.
Mm-hmm.
You've pulled yourself out of the medical system, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch on a couple things you said. Number one, the gallbladder part. When they take your gallbladder, you need to supplement after that. You need to supplement bile salts of some kind. You can get those as organic as you can find them. We have some here at the office, obviously. Otherwise, you don't process fat. And the reason I bring that up is leading to the seizures. Obviously, you had a hormone issue, which there's a fat processing issue with all that. Your hormones, like I said, there's 84 in a dance. Your body's not digesting food properly because you knew that because your stomach. All this, if somebody's out there listening and you're dealing with any type of health issue, even allergies or something, allergies which you take maybe over the counter and you think you're okay. What happens is if you don't treat the body to where it fixes itself, in other words, if you keep letting your body malfunction and you take a drug, more and more things are going to happen. And you just heard a very brief version of what's happened to Jen. She started with one thing, and now it's culminated, 15 years later, with seizures. And whether you're 14 and this starts, or whether you're 44, it's not normal for your body to fall apart. So when she presents all this to me and to my team here, I don't think I'm going to take away seizures. Have I ever told you that?
Mm-mm.
I don't think I'm going to take away acid reflux or P.C.O.S. Right? Oh, by the way, how have your cycles been? Not this past one, but the ones before that.
So I just started working here.
No, before that.
Okay, before that, I would be cramping for about 8 hours a day. The first day, and they were painful.
If you know a woman that deals with painful cycles, they need to watch this video. They need to listen to what has just happened. Or how long were those cycles that bad?
On and off since I was 21. I don't remember my periods being this bad in high school at all. It's been the last couple of years for sure.
So you've been here a couple of weeks. What was the first thing that we looked at with you? What did we take you back there and do?
The curvature in my neck.
We x-rayed her. Right? Why would we x-ray you? Your spine specifically. I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, to check for subluxations.
Subluxations, all right? So look, your brain is up here trying to sort out all your hormones. It's trying to sort out your ovaries. Guys, it's trying to sort out your testicles and your testosterone factor and all your growth hormone and everything. Your brain is up there trying to sort all that out. If it's blocked, if your brain can't get there at 100%, by law, your body is going to malfunction. Whether it's your hormone factory, your stomach, your gallbladder, your liver, your immune system, you have to have nerve supply to the organs and tissues of your body. If you take away the nerves, now this is basic human physiology. If we separate the nerves from a cell, an organ, or any tissue, what happens to that tissue immediately? If you separate the nerves, if you unplug the brain from a body part, what happens to the body part?
It's not getting oxygen.
No, your nerve supply. It dies. It dies. You can't separate nerve supply and expect the body to work. So where we come in is if your brain is being blocked. Hi, Christine.
Hi.
If your brain is being blocked by what we call subluxation in your vertebrae, now your body it can't work at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we treated. And you've been doing that daily for the last couple of weeks. And what, you just had a cycle. How was your cycle?
I had no cramping. And normally where it's about 7 days, it was 3 days. And I was at a wedding this weekend. I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be in some pain. Never came. I was never in pain.
Not a girl. So who fixed your hormones, or who's fixing your hormones?
Me. Well, also, we've been eating clean, and part of the diet with PCOS is avoiding carbs and sugar.
Yep.
And that's the diet we've been doing the last couple of weeks. And so it's all the above.
Who's fixing you?
Me and God.
She is fixing herself, and that is the greatest message I can share with anybody. If you're out there dealing with any of those things, let's run through the list. It was acid reflux, gallbladder.
Yeah, it's birth control
hormones,
to gallbladder removal, to finding out PCOS, finding out I had seizures.
Seizures. If you're dealing with anything and you want to get well, you have to find a place like this whose sole purpose is to get you functioning at such a high level that you resolve those issues yourself. If you're going somewhere, whether it be a chiropractor, nutritionist, or God forbid a medical doctor that has given you something to fix X, Y, and Z, you are missing the mark and you won't get well that way, no matter who you talk to. Food is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think is more important, brain flow or food?
Oxygen is life, so
Well, in order you go brain, oxygen, food.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even breathe without your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So listen, don't neglect your diet. Food is critical. Your brain is going to take what you're putting in and build your organs out of it. So if you're eating fast food all the time, even this great Christian company that's across the parking lot here that I'm not going to say their name, that uses peanut oil to fry everything, that's terrible food. Every fast food restaurant, if you want fast food organs, that's what you're going to get, and you're not going to live as long that way, no matter what you think, no matter how you feel, right? And most of the time, there is a silver lining to what Jen went through, because it happened pretty early in her life. Had it happened at 50 or 60, you probably wouldn't be sitting here. You'd probably be dead, or have lost your brain. Because sadly, that's what's happening. People get up to 50, and then they start falling apart, and they've been taking Advils or whatever else, ibuprofen or Tylenol for years. Now they step up into a bigger medication for pain, blood pressure, cholesterol, all this crap. And if you go back in their history, maybe they started with females, maybe you started with hormone issues, and you didn't think it was a big deal to take the birth control pill. That is a gigantic deal. The side effect of those things are cancer, breast cancer, and strokes. You know, the side effect of all this testosterone therapy that you see these guys walking into these clinics. You know the side effects of testosterone therapy? Elevated estrogen, therefore more cancer. You cannot live that way. You can choose to do that. What I'm saying is you can't live that way and expect to be healthy. You've got to switch the way you think. Turn to your body. Jen said the greatest word. She said, God. God made us and made you to be strong. He didn't make you to be weak. Right? He made you to thrive, to overcome viruses, to normalize your weight. He gave you a metabolism, starting with all these interconnecting parts from your midbrain, your thyroid, your hypothalamus there in your brain, your adrenal glands, and everything in between. Even your fat cells have something to do with your metabolism. Tune into your body and watch the miracles happen. I mean, her cycles are getting better. PCOS is gone. We were talking before we did this video. We started naming all these people. And if you're out there, if you ever see this video, I'd like for you to chime in and comment down there. Infertility issues. I don't know. I've lost track of how many women came in here telling me that they couldn't have babies. Like it was impossible, or next to impossible. They did what we told them, exactly what you just said. Yes, change their diet. Most importantly, you have to get your spine flowing. Most of you watching this are going to have issues in your spine, and you may not even know it. We x-ray people all the time who aren't in pain, and their spine is all jacked up, and it's giving them something like irritable bowel syndrome or constipation. You got to take care of your spine. I cannot stress that enough. And unfortunately, we sit so much in today's society. We have so much trauma to our spine from work, from sports, from learning how to walk, from, God forbid, the C-section. If you've been through that, I'm sorry. You may not have known, but that damages a baby's spine. There's something 20 to 40 pounds of pressure being put into the baby's spine when they pull it out. Is just terrible. I got stuck in the birth canal. I've got this big fat head. Mom said there was like 46 hours of labor, and it was just a nightmare trying to get me out of there. And my spine was messed up from birth. That's what got me into this, let alone all the soccer and everything. But if you start taking care of it, so I'm 49 years old. We got this immune issue right now with the world. People are scared to death of a little bug they can't even see. The reason I'm not scared at all, and when I mean not scared at all, I'm 100% certain every one of you have come in contact with this virus already. It is an absolute. Just like you have the flu, just like you have the cold, everything else. The reason I don't mind hugging people and shaking their hand, and all those homeless people that I worked on for 15 years, is because I know I've been working on this for 13 years. It would be very difficult for me to get sick. Now, I'm not God. My system works all the time. I do get some drainage every now and again. I was around a bunch of dust yesterday, and I woke up kind of snotty this morning. But that's normal. I'm not afraid because I understand how the body works. I live it. Jen's starting to live it. Christine and Dr. Hannah. Dr. Hannah had a great hormone testimony. We should be the Get Your Hormones Right chiropractic office.
Oh,
we got more.
So it affects so many things. I mean, we didn't even touch on like hair loss or hair growth or any of that stuff. It's everything.
Yeah, I've still got full head of hair. And I think if you looked at my genetic tendencies, that's probably out of line for my genes. No offense, guys in the family, love you. But the point of this whole thing is if you start taking care of yourself properly, then it gives your body a great chance to overcome whatever, whether it's hormone issues, weight, immune loss, sensitivities, autoimmune disease. That's the number one selling drug right now is something called Humira. And it's making $700 million a year. It's just a disaster. Yeah, and side effects of that are cancer. It even says it on the TV commercials. How do we come into a society where we've become totally dependent on medication? It's robbing us of our life. It's robbing our children of their future. You think this virus is a pandemic? Look at the amount of medications we take. This country consumes some 90% of the world's drugs, and even 95%. Of course, we're going to panic at the sign of a bug. If somebody says fire, just the country itself jumps, and we wear these masks, we shut down. It all comes back to your health. If you're not taking care of your body, you're independent. If you're not taking care of that, proactively, then unfortunately you're going to be part of the system, and we don't want that. That's our biggest goal. We got to shout this out. So if you'll take this video and share it, how many people are dealing with everything Jen was dealing with? I had asthma and all this scarring on my lungs and everything when I was a baby. I couldn't breathe. I was taking 4.5 pills. How many kids are out there dealing with asthma?
Too many.
And I read a couple of years ago that half of the kids walking through the doors of our elementary schools are already taking a prescription drug.
Yeah, I was put on Vyvanse at age 13 for my ADD, which I went to high school. I didn't want to take the easier tests. I didn't want to go in the easier classrooms.
And think of the clever marketing. The drug companies, they have rooms of people that will never meet you. They don't know you. They don't know anything about you. But they're up there strategizing, how can we get more people on drugs? You got to think, it's a for-profit industry, right? You better believe part of their mission is to get people on drugs. That's the product that they sell. What do you think they do? They make this drug, Vyvanse or anything else, and they sit down and form a marketing plan, put a committee together, and send it out into the world and blast these doctors who are really nothing more than pill pushers nowadays. No offense to you guys that don't do that. We've got a couple around North Texas that are outstanding. We love you. Our pediatricians, we've got a family doctor, and they hate drugs. They don't do it. They don't push it. But most of the doctors, unfortunately, are pill pushing, nothing more than part of the marketing team to get people on medication.
Totally. And then if you're on these Vyvanse, they'll say, oh, okay, you can't sleep at night, so let's put you on some Ambien. And then this cycle continues. And
that is the disaster, by the way. Do you know that? The kids that shoot up schools, if you listen to their whole story, they're taking an anti-anxiety or antidepressant and a sleeping pill. And the way that they talk, they tell these stories if they don't shoot themselves, and it's like they were dreaming. That's kind of the language that they use. And of course they're on these drugs. It's like a chemical lobotomy. You're walking around like a zombie.
Well, and I had no idea my seizure medicine. We looked at the side effects. I had no idea how many other side effects this was causing me that I was just used to for the last 4 years. That were actually pretty. They weren't the most mild of symptoms. And I just had no idea that it was correlated to this. But these are symptoms that appeared in the last 4 years, and I had no clue. I live very healthy.
Definitely now.
Definitely now.
Why don't you tell everybody what was wrong with your neck?
It was my neck curves like that.
Backwards.
Kinda. Yeah.
Backwards.
So the oxygen flow. I mean, seizures happens
Nerve
from
flow.
Yeah, lack of oxygen to the
Nerve.
brain. Correct.
Nerve flow. So and both actually together, because the blood flow will be restricted also to your head, and that's how you get oxygen up there. But the nerve flow, the spinal fluid, the arteries up there, all compromised when you do that to your neck. So we take that pressure off your neck, and then your body, you get nerve flow, oxygen flow, spinal fluid flow, get nutrition up to your brain, get it out of there, and your seizures are gone.
So, not to veer off too much, but the first day that I started, we had a pretty miraculous thing happen with Dr. Hannah.
With what?
Dr. Hannah, are we allowed to tell that story?
Patient at the gym.
The seizure.
Yes, we can tell that. So, yeah, she was at the gym.
So, yeah, Dr. Hannah was at the gym. My first day starting here, mind you.
Don't say her name, though.
I don't even know it, so I should, but I'm new. But, yeah, she went to the gym after work, and somebody had a seizure on the ground, and Dr. Hannah ran, adjusted her neck. She felt, I don't know the proper word, but it was very subluxated.
Subluxated, yeah.
But she stopped this woman's seizure instantly. When she adjusted her neck, she was able to breathe, and she came out of it.
Pretty cool stuff.
To me starting my first day, that was a pretty miraculous thing. I think that was God very much kind of rooting me on to heal myself and get off this medicine. I'm ready. And
so part of this video is we're sort of launching her seizure testimony. She's already had major success in all these other areas, your hormones and your digestion and all that stuff.
Energy levels.
So as you come off this seizure medicine, we'll do another video in a couple of weeks. We'll do another one in a couple of months, and just so you can see that she's not dying, she's not having more seizures and everything. I'm going to put the heat on us, because I know God has sent you here to tell everybody and tell the world this.
There's been so many incredible signs. It's unavoidable or undeniable.
So look, if you're out there and you are not taking care of your spine, you need to get in here. If you're in the North Texas area, anywhere, get in here. We've got all kinds of specials all the time. If you bring a bicycle right now, or if you donate, I'm sure Christine will help you save some money on that first visit. Get your spine taken care of. Watch your health just elevate, get stronger, you'll have more energy, like you said, better sleep,
less
your
stress,
mood will
less
change,
anxiety.
far less medications. You'll start taking control of your health. That's ultimately what we want to do for you, is give you control. Don't forget, Bicycle Rally is up on us. We need help with donations. We're looking this year for about 15 grand. We've already got 4,000, so excited for that. For those of you who have given, quick shout out to Fortis Payment Systems. They gave a big donation. Would really appreciate that. We're going to put that money to good use. And any final thoughts?
Just grateful. Incredibly grateful.
Amen to that. Remember, drugs are bad.
God is good.
And so are you. Talk to you next time.
Bye, guys.